All right, everybody, I'd like to call to order the November 1st meeting of the Downtown Development Authority of Romeo. If everybody would stand with me to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Elizabeth, will you do roll call, please?
Sure. Carr is not here yet. Humphreys, not here yet. Malzahn?
Here.
Brandt? Not yet. Rose?
Here.
Hayes?
Here.
Poznansky? Here. Parker?
Yes.
Okay, and Stevens?
Here.
Okay.
Brent may be coming in late. Claire's going to speak later, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, first on the agenda under new business.
Okay, so I don't believe anybody's here for public forum. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
Second.
Go ahead.
Support was John? Rose? Okay.
Yeah.
Approval of the minutes from the informational meeting that we held on.
Do you need to take a vote on that? Do you vote on your
on the
agenda?
Just do an all in favor.
Oh, all in favor? Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry.
Thank you.
We don't have to add that for what went out in the email to the agenda.
I don't believe so because it's still listed as under 9A.
It's still part of it? Okay,
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
Okay, now to the minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one from the informational meeting that we held on the 4th, and the second was the regular meeting minutes. I just have one correction on the regular meeting minutes. Under the phone proposal, the first sentence just needs to have phone added at the, Miller stated she did some research on the best option for a new DDA phone. So if I could get, did everybody read them?
It did, should we just approve them separately, do the informational one first, or?
Mhm. Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the informational meeting.
I'll second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The support was you, Kelly?
Yes.
Okay.
And then on to the regular minutes, get a motion with that revision.
What part was that, Kelly?
Under phone, that first sentence, it's on the second page, I think, where she's talking about the phone.
Third page. Unless mine are over.
Second
Maybe third
okay.
page of that one, right?
Yeah, it just would be DDA phone instead of a new DDA.
That was not my proposal, so yeah.
I didn't think so. So I just need a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay.
Second?
Support
All in
by
favor?
Hayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Can I ask a favor?
Sure.
Give me 1 second when you're going
Okay.
to call them, just because I've got to use for this form,
Okay.
and so,
Okay.
yeah, that'd be great,
Yep.
thank you.
No problem. Well, Carol's not here, so I guess we'll
Hold off on that.
hold off on the treasurer's report.
Well, you have all your documents in front of you, and we got them with plenty of time, which was nice. I don't mind if you guys wait on that. You'll just tell me when to go back to it.
Well, where's the check thing? She did give us the amount of checks that were cut for them.
Yeah, and Megan and I just talked, it's for, and I'm sorry about the small print on that, I will fix that for next time. But it should be $16,853.49.
So that's the bottom, not checks for the payment.
Checks for payments, it should be. But if for clarity, I guess if you want to wait, I understand that.
I don't have a problem, I signed them.
Make a motion to approve the bills in $16,853.49. Carol can explain it if
Support?
she comes later.
Support by you?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
do have to take a roll call on
Yes.
this one.
All right, perfect. Let's see. This is all my last name here, so let's see. Malzahn?
Malzahn will abstain because I have a $69 invoice on there for Romeo Printing.
Okay, Brandt is not here. Rose?
John?
Yes.
Okay. Hayes?
Yes.
Poznanski?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Okay. Do you say motion carry, or do you,
You
is that what, okay, motion carries. Okay, oh, now it's back to me. Okay, well. Did you all read the big old novel that was in your
Well,
board
before
packet?
we get started on that,
Sure.
I wanted to give you a thank you for getting this put together in a timely fashion. I don't think I've ever received a packet via electronic, and we got it well in advance, so I appreciate the effort on doing that.
Thank you. So, as my report says, it has been a very, very busy month. In the section setting up shop, the phone number was successfully ported, the voicemail set up. We've been getting several calls a day, even some on the weekend when I worked a little bit on Saturday and I turned the phone on for a while, and we had people asking about, is Tilson Street still open? How should my kids dress? So, and I'm trying to find out from them also, how are you finding this phone number? So that's helping us as we actually are already working with website stuff. DDA emails are all in good working order. Roster email, as you know, is ddaboard@romeo.dda.org. If you have any issues with that, please let me know, or need it to be changed differently. Establish weekly meeting appointments with the board chair. I think we just completed our third today. Internet connection and Wi-Fi upstairs in the office has been challenging. We're working with the village IT company to get a direct wire connection and improve connectivity with the printers. So the update on that is I actually paid the invoice for that today with Kelly's approval. So hopefully we'll get an appointment within the next couple days. If not, it'll be next week. So we'll have a direct connect upstairs. We'll have a Wi-Fi access point up there. And the village is actually cost sharing all of that with us because they use the upstairs for meetings as well. And then there's an additional piece that they're going to add to get the printer, the ability for me to use the printer with the laptop service as well. Turnover with Lisa Hall went smoothly over the course of 2 sessions. It was a pleasure to get to know Lisa and to learn from her. And she has been continuing to assist, including today, from time to time with questions that I have. Website access and repairs. Established contact with the current web developer, had a 2-hour on-site meeting with him. We worked at the Chamber of Commerce conference room as the village offices were being recarpeted and Wi-Fi was temporarily disconnected. As the site as the website is quite antiquated, not much can be changed or even salvaged. I now have administrative access to both the DDA website and at romeodda.org. We will be paying him for his time, and we are working on an exit plan from this platform that we should be able to roll out very soon. Another side note to that is a former board member, why am I forgetting his name for a second? Lipka, Robert Lipka. We found out that he was the administrator, or actually owned. It was under his name, but I've known him for years. I was able to contact him, not a problem. So it's already all switched over, so I have control of that as well.
Well, I think it was an interesting turnaround how you found Marcel.
That was, yes, it was, and you know what? It worked out. Mm-hmm. So yes, I was able to use some contacts within the township to find a way to get in touch with him.
Real quick,
Sure.
Do we know, like, I know you said we'll be paying him for his time, but did he give you like a roundabout of what to expect as far as cost?
No, I will use my own discretion on that as a professional courtesy, mm-hmm. Because he did come in. I mean, Kelly was in the office and he did sat with us. Sat with me for 2 hours was the timing that we said. It was 12 to 2. And he helped me understand, have administrative access to our Google site, which is everything at Romeo DDA is connected to that. So he still controls that, okay. But I have almost full access to that. I understand that you haven't been paying him, but you also haven't been getting invoiced. And that's not really, in my opinion, the DDA's fault on that. I mean, if you don't submit an invoice, you can't get paid.
Sure.
But in this case, we needed access, We
Right.
needed to be able to figure this all out. So it just makes sense that he could be paid something for his time. If I get a huge bill, I mean, I'm just,
That would just be my only concern.
No.
It's like, oh, here we go. Here's a-
well, there was a suggestion with something already, and I'm like, no, that's not gonna quite work, but we can
Sure.
figure something out, so,
Okay.
but that's a great question.
Are you saying that the 2-hour time frame is what we're paying him for his time?
Correct.
That's complete now?
Yes, I mean, I guess if you just allow me to try to work through that a little bit, and I'll have obviously an update, and that will not be something that will be agreed upon without board approval, of course. But it was, y'all haven't been able to get in touch with him for how long? And we've done this and we've made the transfers already. So we need this to go smoothly. I need to have access to it, and I'll handle it very professionally. We'll figure out an exit plan. Moving on to that, can I go on to the website access? Okay, and repairs? Nope, that's what I just read. Website redevelopment. Currently working with Think Street Media and Romeo High School Business Entrepreneurship and Innovation Academy to consider a collaboration to rebuild the website into a simple version initially with room for growth and change within the next 6 to 12 months. This will allow us to quickly fix serious issues with the current site while allowing us to build on a platform based on future goals and workshops. In addition, we have a local photographer, First Street Photography, that has already given us access to her body of work and future endeavors to include headshots, et cetera, at no cost to us. I also spoke with Mike Nicely, and we have access to all his photos as well, so that we can add some of that. An update from when this was written, I've had several Zoom meetings with Sean, who's the creator of this website.
You want to give them a little background? Because
Sure.
I was the only one that's.
Yes, thank you.
Talked to Sean.
Okay, so
The reference comes from Greg Tarr.
Yes, so Think Street Media builds a website, but it's also it's a bigger story, which I prefer for him to tell the story. But Greg said, hey, this guy perhaps he can help us. I looked at some of his information and there went, there's no way we can afford this. But I'm like, I'll do due diligence. I'll send it off, the email or voicemails, we back and forth. And then turns out he's been on a DDA board in Davison. He has been on the board for Four County Foundation. He's been on school boards. He's been on several boards. So he understands government. He understands the need for certain materials to be on a website and so forth. And we're already talking a price, and he doesn't know what our budget is, and it's slightly outside the budget, but not by much. Loves the idea of collaborating with the schools. We had a Zoom meeting this morning with John Anderson, who is in charge of the web development class and a few other classes, and then also with Rich Bojo, who used to be some of my kids' teacher. And they are very excited about the idea of possibly working with the DDA and allowing the students to create some content and possibly get some more experience. As I get to know the business owners more and find out what some of their needs are, they're thinking beyond where I'm at the moment. And how could these students get more experience with some of the businesses downtown? And I think that's where it's going to be a really good marriage if it works out. So I'm hoping potentially he already has a draft of a website started, and we haven't even paid him anything. It's amazing. So if anybody wants to look at it, I'm not going to share that in an open meeting just because it's live technically, but you'd have to look really hard to find it. But it's a template, and he's already put pictures on it, and it's basically what I thought is going to take me 4 to 6 months to even begin could literally be done within weeks. So I might be requesting a special meeting before the December 6th meeting for him to present potentially. So is anybody you open to that? I know RFP is probably a good idea, but at the same time, when you're considering when you see it, you'll be like, oh wow. When you have a professional presentation and someone is doing it because they understand how this is also going to benefit the schools, benefit the community and whatnot, it's sort of a win-win situation. So we could wait, but then it just keeps delaying it. And right now we're not in compliance with state law because even though the links are there, they don't work. So I'm a little concerned about that. So
Are you talking for like the to access like the agenda and the?
Well, it's the
minutes and
agenda,
stuff like that?
it's all of
It's
those
your
things.
budgeting,
Financial.
your financials need to be
Yeah.
on there.
Budgets, financials, agendas, minutes, draft minutes, all of that, your calendar, all those things. The calendar's on there, but the rest of them, none of the links work, because they can't. That website is so dead. It's impossible to change those things. Am I good to move on to the next one? Okay. Romeo Community Archives. I've been working with Julie at the Kezar Library to review the Romeo DDA documents and articles to understand the Romeo DDA history and the significance of past decisions, struggles, goals, etc. She has also a source of information and knowledge in helping with some social media aspects and potentially web design. The master plan for 2022 to 2027. I've been busy researching the contents of the master plan, of course, worked with Amanda. We've done several video conferences, emails, conference calls with the board chair to correct the draft prior to it getting before the village council. Requested that the watermark be added to the document because I know in my work with the library sometimes, especially when you have a big document, if there's not a draft put on it, those old copies people confuse them, and it's really important for future things not to have confusion on that. As you know, electronic and paper copies were given to the board, the full DDA board. Most of them I hand delivered, I think, and then yours came through your board packet for the village. Included a draft for the Village of Romeo board, and also that was emailed to them separately. Discuss changes with each of the board members, either in person or by phone, so that everyone could be well informed and to aid in answering questions from the public or business owners. I plan to have 50 to 100 copies of the approved master plan printed in a booklet format in full color to distribute to current and potential business owners in the CBD. The county is able to do that at a reduced cost. I already have a couple estimates on that, and they have the resources to be able to reduce the cost on that. That's an important piece, I think, that's going to really bring the professionalism of Romeo just even up a notch. Downtown beautification, the DIA Inside Out installations, a crew plans to remove those between November 3rd and 9th, and there's no action that is needed by the village or the DDA. And we got a nice email from them saying that they love being part of Romeo. Halloween lights should have been removed after 10 o'clock. Should have been removed after 10 o'clock last night. Matt Jarosh said that he wanted to make sure that everybody enjoyed them up till late last night, and so that's what he was planning on doing. The flower baskets, hardware, and all the fall decor will be removed anywhere between today and the 12th. Christmas decorations and greenery will be installed between November 11th and 12th. And then seasonal banners will be hung upon completion, and I'm working with the DPW on that. I went out there and took a look at a little bit, but there were other things that were more pressing to work on that, and those won't be put up until after all of the Christmas decorations are put up. Had a couple visits with a couple DDA directors. Do you guys want me to read this? Is that what we normally do?
I don't know if everybody else read it.
I can read it. Want to hear me talk? I can read it. Becky Finko has been the executive director for the past 2 years in Marquette. She was the assistant director for 10 years prior. Marquette has many innovative ideas and projects that are currently in the works. They just completed a major road replacement project that involved clear communication, management, and collaboration with the business community. They also just completed a downtown plan in collaboration with city officials and other governmental agencies. This resulted in a major brownfield plan that includes a parking structure that will be housed inside this historic renovation expansion project that is privately funded and owned. New meter parking system is also currently under construction. As we have our Crosswalk project parking survey underway, there's much to be learned from the success of Marquette under Becky's leadership, and I look forward to her mentorship. On the 19th, I visited with the Uptown Inc. executive director in Columbus, Georgia. Their approach is a DDA-like system that's called Business Improvement District, or BID. Ed Wolverton has been their director for the past 3 years. He has 30 years experience in this community. He has a small staff of only 2, and they work in collaboration with several other organizations and private-public partnerships. They have a unique venue of whitewater rafting and zip lines that's part of their budget. They lease 2.5 miles of river from the city for this business that is operated under contract. They are event and promotions focused and engage with the merchants whenever possible. They created a merchant-only Facebook page as an additional layer of communication with the business community. He believes strongly in over-communication within the business district. His office holds coffee and conversation mixers weekly with regular attendance ranging from 5 to 20 business and property owners. They also sponsor Friday night concerts in one of the boulevards. For organizational memberships, he encourages trade-out membership. And he has also helped several businesses, building owners, apply for historic preservation tax credits in several of his positions, not just where he is there. So he encouraged me to focus on the 5 following buckets: promotion, organization, economic development, legacy projects, and public management. Any questions about that? Also, I'm working on establishing a working knowledge of the Michigan Downtown Association, the benefits of membership. Membership has been renewed and registration complete for the on-site conference this Thursday in Detroit. I look forward to gaining a better understanding of this community and the resources available. In addition, I intend to pursue continued education opportunities for this board. I've also begun the process of communicating with businesses that I feel would be a great asset to the Central Business District. I'm working with the village president to be aware of current development projects and property owners looking for tenants. So that's it. That's all I've done.
Is that all?
Are there any questions?
Yeah, a couple questions. First of all, the roster email.
Yes.
Simple replies to everyone. Is this correct?
Yes.
Not a reply all.
No, I think you have to reply all.
Because there's only one email that shows up.
Right.
So reply or reply all.
We could test that tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted
Yeah,
to-
I'll make
wanted to
sure that you
clarify
do
that, because
Sure.
I saw, I think, one reply from the one you sent. I don't know if there were other replies that didn't hit, I don't know if you hit reply
Yeah,
all
there
or not.
were.
Yeah, I did.
I
had
saw
replied.
Zach's is the only one I
John,
saw.
I did reply.
Yeah,
but
he
I
you
just replied to her.
She just
Didn't hit
replied to me.
reply all.
I
Just
hit
thought-
reply all on my response.
You did, okay,
Yeah.
so
and
that's,
that-
you understand my question? We'll
I do.
Test that
I
out.
saw Zach's reply, so I got it, but I didn't.
Because you
didn't
hit
see
reply
mine
all.
then.
That's what I'm saying, I didn't see anybody else's.
Well, in communicating with the board, we should probably be replying all.
I want to make sure, that's why I
Yeah.
want to know.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you for saying. And the only, let's see, Bill, the sign in front of you says Carol, so I'm a little confused. I'm like, that is not Carol. There we go. So Bill does not have a DDA email, but he gets it directly through into his account.
Okay.
Carol's email, her DDA email, is forwarded to her to another account. So if she hits reply all or something like that, unfortunately, it's going to show whatever email it is that she opened it up with. We're just going to have to test it a few times, and I'll figure it out somehow, if that happens. But so far, everybody's been getting the communication with the Romeo Duddy.
The-
Yep. Perfect.
I had one other question, I guess it would be. Not a
Sure.
statement. Website redevelopment. Great news, sounds great. Sounds like there's something already in the works. Seems to me like there's gonna need to be a bid process, though. My feeling.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
A bid process, if we're planning on hiring a company to do this.
What's your policy on that?
Zach?
That's my question.
Well,
I'm
up
sorry.
to a certain amount, we can spend, one without board approval, period.
Right.
I think
Mhm.
that's up to 1,000,
I thought it was 1,500.
it might be 1,500.
Thought we raised it.
Yeah, I think it's 1,500.
We have always, on bigger projects like that, even with companies like Vans, who always do the flowers, we still send that out for bid. Now, that's a big one, but even
This one's very
DeRoche's-
small compared to that.
And that's kind of what it boils down to. I don't think, I mean, I would look to Christine and Megan for some input on this as far as how you guys handle things at the village level, because we've always bid out projects like that.
But not
Just
a lot
from
of response has come back.
Exactly. It
Right.
usually ends up that the person who we are currently working with or speaking with
Mhm.
is the only company that bids it out. It's more just from an optics and a process standpoint than anything else. But we've also had RCC be in communication about,
You had RCC and that other company that did Elmont's. I brought that.
right,
bid.
yeah.
So you do have a couple there. Yeah.
Right, and I forget what RCC quoted, it was not a lot, I don't think.
It wasn't a
was-
lot, but my experience,
what
I
we-
just worked with him on a foundation, and I was not extremely pleased with the outcome.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, and that's, I think from a and we don't have to go with the lowest bid either, just because that's how these bid packages come
Mhm.
back. If there's somebody that we're more comfortable with and we think that they can, that they're the best fit for the project we're doing, we don't have to go with the lowest bid. Just from a standpoint of the practice, I mean, I guess we should
Yeah,
probably
it's
review
to
the
cover
purchasing
ourselves. I mean, you
policy.
wouldn't want somebody to come back. Generally, like Kelly says, usually the person we're working with is the
Only
only bid we
bidder.
get. But on the off chance, someone just wants to
Throw
be a
their hat
pain
in, yeah.
and say, well, I didn't get the chance and now I'm gonna sue you. It just is good practice.
So do you
But
have a current
what are
policy
we-
in place for
Price point.
RFPs, the
We
amounts
do.
that are? We don't have to find it right now. I just was curious if there is
I'll
one,
take,
because I haven't seen
I'll,
it.
I'll take a look at it this week.
Okay.
And I'll get back to you and Kelly on it.
Perfect.
And then we'll see,
What is our budget price point on that?
You have two, I believe it's 2,000?
So it's not much over
It's not.
It's not.
the what
No.
is quoted.
I mean, I can tell you
It's
the
not what,
the rough amount.
it's
if
not
you're-
much over what
I
she,
wouldn't say with that, if you're gonna go up
Okay.
to bid, I wouldn't say with the
No, you're
line.
right.
yeah, so, I mean, website and development is 2,500. And we had 5,000 budgeted for Saturdays in October, which
we didn't
we
do.
didn't use, so
Mhm.
we've definitely got money
Yeah,
to
so
work
sure,
with.
to make it even a little more.
The general rule of thought, at least on the village council side, was that we try and provide at least 3 estimates. It may not be a formal bid policy. That policy really is for expenditures over $10,000, which I don't think that you're there.
No.
So at least having some competitive numbers so that you're comparing apples to apples is always a great spot.
I'll give you that
Right.
quote I got from the company from Elmont.
Okay, that would be good.
Best practices is probably bidding out, but
Right.
that it doesn't always work. So there has to be some latitude, and certainly reviewing your purchasing policy is sort of key.
And the only other, the other part I would just add to that is if we're looking to build collaborations with different, especially with the school district or any other governmental agency or, that type of a thing, I guess maybe reviewing with you, Kelly, what's the expectation of anybody else who might be submitting a bid? How much communication will there be expected to have with the school from those people to understand what that collaboration may look like? And that might get a little messy with that, but I understand where everybody's coming from.
That's what will make the bids more appealing to us. As Zach said, maybe it won't be the least expensive bid, but they have better communication and more willingness to partner up.
That's a good point.
Then
Okay.
that would be the bid that maybe we would want to look at.
Or if the school put together a page or two from their standpoint, so they need to repeat it over and over.
They're looking for us to provide that. Like, what are we looking for? And so I'm in the midst of working on that, so. Okay, was there any other questions on?
I think Bill.
Okay.
There are some of us who are technologically beyond inept, and so when you send out something like you did today, it becomes unreadable unless you've got a Google account. And we tried desperately to set up a Google account and failed miserably. So
Okay,
I
yes.
can't read what you're sending out. 'cause
Okay.
I've only got a Yahoo account.
So
You're
I,
saying you need a PDF as opposed to like a Word document, is that?
Or
I don't
some-
know how
or
it
somebody
came
to
up.
set up
it's a
Google.
Google Drive.
Right.
It said Google
Google- I
Drive, just
know, I
have
always
to
call it
do,
Word. It's
and we tried to
Google Docs.
walk through that, and I got frustrated, and
Okay.
Susan and the two of us tried doing it, and we couldn't get anywhere, so I said to hell with it, and,
It's
How-
just attached
If
to
you're
the,
open to it, Bill, I can help you figure that out.
Probably
Because
don't
if I
want
can
you
figure
to,
it
but-
out, anybody can figure it out, and I
Absolutely.
figured it out by a couple other people helping me with it, and then.
Okay, I couldn't, we thought
Okay.
we were doing everything they told us to do, but that came bouncing back to,
That's frustrating, I know. I know, and you just want to like take your computer and throw it out the window. I know, because I wanted to do that about 100 times my first day.
Well, why can't you just attach the PDF instead of link it?
That is something I can do, but
She was
the
trying to get
software
everybody on the same
on the same
roster and
systems.
the same emails. and
Yeah,
everything.
and it's all a matter of also, there's software on, the current DDA computer that's outdated. So I have been primarily using my own computer because it's just easier. It's simpler. It saves a lot of time, which ultimately is saving you guys time because you're paying me
But
to
you're
do this
working out of
job.
a Mac too, right?
I am, but it's not. It has nothing to do with a Mac. It's Google.
Does our computer have Word yet?
It does not.
Yeah, that was one of the big things.
And it weighs about like 100 pounds.
We should have bought it.
I don't know. So, Bill, if I can get with you on that, or we can.
Yeah,
we
I
can-
knew on the board package it would come, and so I didn't worry about it. But when
Okay.
that's when we tried. And
Sure.
So.
I understand your frustration. I'm sorry for that, but we'll get it figured out. Any other
I
questions?
do have one thing, just
Sure.
on at the beautification at the bottom.
Yeah.
With taking down our baskets and stuff, we really, I know we've talked about it often, but me and Lisa never did get to it. Inventorying what we have, what already needs to be replaced. Believe it or not, we've had these flower baskets for almost 5 years now?
Probably, yeah.
Somewhere for, I don't know. So we're at the point where we need to start forethought of what do we need to purchase now or set aside money to be bringing in, so, because they take the baskets and fill them up, so then that way if
Sure.
we need new ones by next year or 2 years, we know that.
That is a great question, Megan. It's on the turnover file that Lisa and I have as a working document. She has that on there as far as taking inventory on that. So that is something that I am working
Yeah.
with Ray on.
Yeah, as they take them down, yeah,
Yep.
ask them to just be
For sure.
thinking about that.
And we're also talking about, Christine and I have been talking about whether or not the light poles get painted in the spring, and so that's part of the reason for getting the hardware down too. So it's also not in the way of the Christmas decorations and whatnot. So we had a meeting with everybody all at the same time between DPW, myself, Christine, Ray, and Matt DeRoche from Cold Frame.
Yeah, one of the great suggestions that came out of that meeting was to possibly just leave the pots up year-round, because the up, down is not only scraping and scratching the light poles, it also creates a problem for the vendor. And they talked about just taking the pots out and leaving the hardware, but last year we had a few of them slip that became walking hazards with those hoops left down there, so I asked them to please just make sure that they took them all down. But next year, when we look at the RFP, we may consider just leaving them up all year, and then we would put Christmas decorations in those pots. Instead of maybe wrapping all the lamp posts, we would just put greens in different areas, which might change it up just enough that
Well,
we
and
could
probably
really.
for this year, you would want them all down if you're thinking about painting too.
Which is why they're all
Yes.
coming down, exactly. So I would ask everyone, as you're out and about in different communities, if you see some interesting decorations that you like, take some pictures and send them to me. And then we can kind of look at them for next year sometime. Was there anything else?
Nope.
Anyone? One thing I did add that I thought of after the director's report, because I saw a posting from 5 Degrees North Coffee Roasters, actually, that their Small Business Saturday is on November 27th. What has the DDA done in the past to support that?
The chamber is a neighborhood champion, and
Okay.
I get the packages delivered, which always include flyers for the businesses, welcome mats, bags for shopping. The chamber in the past has paid to have the downtown light poles done in the Shop Small blue balloons through town, so that's what we've done.
Okay. If you need me to do anything with that, just let me know.
I post it on all of our social medias frequently, especially when it gets towards that time.
Is that something that we want to look at promoting more next year when it's
American
time to
Express-
research it?
The kits don't come out for probably another 2 weeks, but they do start sending you verbiage for social media postings.
Okay.
So I can give that
And I
to-
usually just go to the chamber and
Okay.
post your posts or steal your pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you don't want me posting some of that stuff right now just yet, sending it to our current website.
Yeah, won't do anything.
But we can in the future. Okay, good. All right,
Well,
thank you.
You had a busy first month, Elizabeth, but I joked, I said we give her benchmarks, and I think she's almost halfway through all the benchmarks that we wanted for the first 6 months. Okay.
Thank you.
Funding requests, we don't have any of that tonight. The committee reports, we do have to change up our motion that we made in September in hiring Elizabeth. The job posting has stated the job was posted at $36,400, but our motion in September said we approved $34,600. So we need to,
Was that a typo, or was it?
you know what, I never went back and looked at the meeting. It could have been a typo, it could have got transposed.
So you need a motion to,
Amend what we approved in September to reflect what we had in the job posting, which was the $36,400.
also move.
Well, do you, may I
Tell what
interject?
you
something?
said.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the action item, because there's two other things in there, and then the recommended motion is right in there that would include all three things, so you can do it all in one motion, if you so choose.
So you're recommending to approve and adjust the executive director's salary to the $36,400 and to adopt the job, per the job posting, and adopt executive director duties with 6-month bench goals as presented. And that's the page behind there, the 6-month.
And then the extra sheet that was presented earlier and then tonight, these were all things that the employment committee had presented to me upon
Your
job offer.
acceptance. Yeah.
Mhm.
So pass the motion as worded in the recommendation.
So that's a motion by you, Mr. Parker?
Yep.
Okay.
Support.
Support by Poznanski, okay.
Roll call?
All right, let's see, Malzahn?
Yes.
Brandt is not, sorry, Tar's not here, Humphrey's not here, Brandt's not here. Rose?
Yes.
Hayes?
Yes.
Poznanski?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
All right, motion
We
carries.
didn't highlight also that she does get paid 2 separate stipends, the $70 for the phone, and then the job posting had the $100 per month for medical also, which was in this motion that we just did. Okay. I think that was it under committee reports. Unfinished business, the pedestrian crosswalk project. Do you have update?
Sure. The pedestrian crosswalk project update, we had Christine Malzahn and I, along with the village chief of police, and Paul O'Meara, thank you, from Rowe Consulting. We met last week and we came up with a plan for that. The project will start probably the first week of May. I've already been in communication with Romeo Community Schools, the middle school and the elementary school that's in town, just to talk about that we will really be getting out the PR, have a really good communication plan as far as the traffic flow changing after the meeting. If you'd like to see a draft of those plans, you're welcome to. They are changing, so you don't want to take copies of them or anything. But there will not be any time, if I remember correctly, Christine, correct me if I'm wrong, there shouldn't be any one time where the road is closed off completely. But if we waited until after school got out, that was a suggestion, it would be pushing it pretty close to Peach Fest. Plus, we spent all this money that you guys have already approved for all the beautiful flowers and decorations downtown, and if that's all kind of being obstructed, it's a bit of a waste of money. So if we push it up earlier, the media that we get out there, as long as our communication is very clear, I think it can flow quite nicely. So that's sort of the update on that. He's already started. That's it. Any questions about that?
What is the timeline for completion after they start?
It was 6 weeks, wasn't it?
Ultimately, in each area, they're going to try and do multiple intersections in one area, but when they're operating in the south end of town, it's about 2 weeks. And then they'll move to the Four Corners, that'll be about a 2 week, and then to the north end of town, about 2 weeks in each one of the quadrants. And so, as she indicated, the most challenging is the east and westbound traffic on St. Clair when they do Bailey and Rawls because of the narrowness of the lanes and the access to those roads. So we will have to close off some access to some of the parking lots because there'll be a manned, sign.
Road
There's
crew.
no way that they can just do one half because the road's not wide enough to keep traffic going 2 ways. So they're going to stop one direction, let them go, turn and let the traffic flow the other way. So that's, yeah, about 2 weeks in each quadrant to answer your question, hopefully.
And there'll be, one of the things that Paul and I did, we walked next door and talked to the business owner right there on the corner, and there'll be some temporary easements in a few of the locations. Were you aware of this before? But it's just temporary so that they can work on part of the sidewalk and they have to agree to it and whatnot. So part of the next 6 to 8 weeks, my goal is to meet with every single business and property owner within the CBD, and building that rapport, building that trust. And so when we start to talk about this stuff, it's not going to be that hard to communicate this because we've already have a working rapport on that. So. And he's going to be checking with the county as far as getting on 4 different spots upcoming changes to traffic flow so that people will get used to seeing that prior to the project even starting. And the chief and I will also be going to the school board and addressing the school as well and just getting the communication out there. It's all communication. As long as we get it out there, it should go quite smoothly.
Update on the parking study?
He started that, already working on that, and I should be getting an update on that soon.
Okay, and our third is we need to approve the master plan update in the resolution to adopt the 2022 through 37 master plan, which is in your packet. Resolution of adoption. Do you want me to read this?
Yes, if you could just give me 1 minute, because in my things here, I missed something. So that is 10C, right? Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Resolution of adoption, Village of Romeo Downtown Development Authority. Whereas the Village of Romeo Board of Trustees established the Village of Romeo Downtown Development Authority pursuant to provisions of Act 197, Public Acts of Michigan, 1975, as amended, and whereas the Village of Romeo DDA has prepared an amended development and tax increment financing plan to implement the authority's defined vision and objectives for the development area as outlined in the plan, and whereas at a regular DDA meeting on September 13th, 2021, the DDA board made a motion to hold a public hearing and present the amended plan for approval to the Village of Romeo Board of Trustees, and whereas a public hearing was held before the Village of Romeo Board of Trustees on Monday, October 18th, 2021, after public notification through official postings throughout the downtown district, mailings to all property owners within the district, and the advertisements in the local paper, and whereas the Village of Romeo Board of Trustees voted by resolution to formally adopt the amended plan. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Romeo Downtown Development Authority does hereby adopt the 2022 through 2037 Romeo Downtown Development Plan and Tax Increment Financing Plan. Woo.
I know, that's when I've been reading them for the library. I'm like,
Okay,
oh my
I need a
God.
motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Support Poznansky? Okay, motion by Hayes, support by Poznansky.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, and all of that documentation, including something that I had to sign, and President Malzahn and the clerk, that's all been prepared. So we'll be submitting that to the state probably this week.
So we have not paid the county for their services as of yet.
Wasn't there a deposit made initially?
No.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching for a bill
Yes.
from that. Okay. Okay.
New business. We have the Romeo District Library Director, Claire Licipio, here to present a collaboration for the holiday season.
I'm so excited that Claire is here because I have such a different respect for people who put board packets together. Even though I've been looking at them from RDL for 12 years, I didn't know how hard it was. So I'm really glad that Claire is here. So Claire and I had an interesting conversation at our last board meeting, which resulted in what you all are about to see tonight. So Claire Lepico.
Hi, I'm the director of Romeo District Library, and Elizabeth Miller and I had talked about the possibility of doing what is called a story walk, which is pages of a book, usually through a park or on a trail. But we thought it would be a better idea to do it in downtown Romeo in shop windows. And so in libraries, much like in government, we don't reinvent the wheel, we borrow from other places. And the Orion Township Library is doing a story walk in downtown Lake Orion with their DDA. And so I got this from their library, and this is generally what we would put together to put with the pages. And the book that we're proposing that we put up for the Christmas season is The Polar Express.
Love it.
And all of the pages of The Polar Express have a double spread with the text on one side. So the book that I ordered, or the 2 copies of the book that I ordered, there's officially a big book format. They're 3 feet wide. The double spread of the pages would be 3 feet wide. And then this would be next to it with all of our information, with the DDA logo and Starkweather and the library. So I talked to the librarian there who's in charge of it, and she said, you gotta make sure it goes left to right. And I said, I hadn't thought of that, because we don't want them walking backwards through the book. That doesn't work. But we talked about the possibility, we would need 14 businesses to have space for a 3-foot book page in their window, and willing to put it up until the end of the holiday season. And we would put a little sticker on the back, a little label on the back that tells them what day they can take it down. And what we're doing is I ordered this big book, and the big book formats are just bound with staples. So we're just going to take the book apart and give them the page. And then they don't have to keep it or give it back to us when they're done, because it'll probably get a little bit worn while it's in their windows. And as you can see, there's a QR code on the page, and that's for the digital map, so people can follow and know exactly where they need to go next. And then we were hoping that the last stop could be the Kezar Library, where if you know the story of the Polar Express, the little boy gets a present from Santa Claus while he's visiting the North Pole, and when he gets home he thinks it's lost, but then it's there and it's a bell, and only the people who believe in the magic can still hear the bell. That's the story. And I was going to read it to you, but I'm not going to put you through that. But so we thought at Kezar we could have bells that families could pick up as their prize for completing the story walk. So what I'm hoping to have from you all is some cooperation in getting the 14 businesses that we need, and then figuring out where we're starting and what order we're going to put everything in. So I just need a little help from that, because you all have more contacts than I do, and if you all are supporting this collaboration, it certainly goes a lot further with businesses. So.
What kind of cost do you guys incur for this, as far as like purchasing the book and?
$60.
That's it.
That's it.
Not too bad.
No.
Is there anything we can do to help offset any costs or help promote it outside of just?
I don't think. Well, I think
$60?
that social media promotion will be a big thing. We'll put it on ours, obviously, and we'll the I Love Romeo Facebook page and the DDA page and all of that stuff, and the chamber can help us with that, the villages page. Maybe I'll talk to Ruth at the Knit, and so we can walk around it and film some of that. But I think that the idea that people will make an evening of it or a day of it, and they could stop at Main Street for a cup of hot chocolate at some point in the walk, it would just be lovely to have people going around as families doing reading all the pages.
I believe there's a spot, if I'm not mistaken, in the story where they get
Where they do
hot
get
chocolate.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
there is.
We
There
could break
is.
out in song
Yeah.
right now if you
That
want.
would be-
There is.
What's that? That would be
Yeah.
the page that I would take.
At Main
Oh,
Street?
that would make
Oh,
sense.
you're Mr. Rose from Main Street. Hi. Sorry, I didn't associate the names until I talked to your wife about the rock.
Because he's pretty close.
Yeah.
You have to start on the east side, the northeast east side.
You'd have to,
Unless the hot cocoa is first, because it depends
No,
on which
that's in
page
the
the
middle.
hot
That's in
cocoa is
the
on.
You wanna bring it back.
you'd have to start like on my
Right.
quadrant
Right.
and go,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
and go up and back around to come back down to the library.
This is the hot chocolate page, John.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that in the beginning?
No,
It's close to the beginning.
is it?
So Claire and I can work out the details
Right,
of all
yeah.
these things,
Yeah.
and Claire, can I speak to some of the things we talked about
Absolutely.
jointly? Okay, great. So we talked about that. First of all, I'm blown away that she's even able to pull this off this quickly, and it's going to be really exciting to do this because only needing 14 businesses. I talked with Kelly about this. We've talked about it several times, and just from the art and wine walk that you guys did, I think you had 14 or 16 businesses, and we
19.
19. Okay, so even more than what we need. So even if we just start with those businesses, and if those of you who are sitting here who have businesses, if you already want to be included in that, we figured we would just start it with a by invitation only, if you will, because we only need 14, and then if you want to speak to what you're thinking.
Oh, sure.
Coming up as this being a regular thing.
We wanted this to be an ongoing thing, and that it would change every month or every 2 months kind of thing. There are a limited number, like 50 books that are available in big book format. But there's some really good ones, and there's some classics that I think would delight people to see in store windows as they're driving by. They're like, that's the bear, something like that would be really exciting. With this book in particular, because it's double page spreads, we only need 14 businesses. But with some of the other books, we'd be able to divide it up so we could use more businesses and they could have smaller pages in their windows. But we want this to be an ongoing thing, and maybe there's a book called Planting a Rainbow that's really lovely and is really bright and vibrant. And at the end, they could pick up seeds or something like that. Something that there would be a prize at the end kind of thing. But we have lots of ideas. My children's librarians are really excited about this. So.
I love the Polar Express for the holidays. I think that's...
It will be lovely. It will be lovely. And even if during the first 12 months of this starting, of course, the end of November, perhaps there's, Christine showed me something where Port Huron, the businesses decorate these styrofoam snowmen. And I know she can't find one yet, but but that's something. Maybe if it's the following winter, it's a great way for a February event. Getting people into the downtown area, right? I mean, snowmen and books and that type of thing. Easter. I know before taking this position for years, I've always how do we get all of these thousands and thousands of people who come down Tilson Street, and now I'm going to call it Not So Pleasant Street because they're really expanding, right? How do we get them into Romeo? Well, that's what you guys hired me to do. And one of the things is that we pull in the Romeo District Library and books and children, and how do you do
That's
that?
how you
And
get
so
families on the streets.
So Halloween, 4th of July, whatever, Thanksgiving, there's just, the sky's kind of the limit. So even if we only do 4 within the next 12 months, that's, so what do
I think it's a great idea.
isn't that awesome?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Something different that we haven't really seen.
Yeah.
Right, and just the idea of getting families downtown to walk around and look in windows and venture into stores and things
So
like
if
that.
this is communicated to Todd from the school district, he
Yes.
can get this out to the
Yes.
Exactly.
the families through the...
Which she already, speak to some of that if you don't mind, about
Sure.
how RDL's working.
There's a new director of teaching and learning who's in charge of the curriculum for all the elementary school principals. And he got me into all of the staff meetings at the elementary schools, which I've been trying to do for 3 years, so I was really excited about that. So I have all their contacts now.
Perfect.
And I know how to get them. And they've all said, just send me stuff and we'll put it on our Facebook page, or we'll put it in our Friday flyer and we'll send it home and everybody will know about it. So this is one of those things that we could publicize that way too, through the schools.
Right.
No problem.
Love it.
And we can partner with other entities. I know we could get sponsorship from probably the chamber, some other businesses, but we really wanted.
This is a real low cost kind of thing.
It really
for
is.
a
So it's
big
just, we
return.
want to just let's keep it simple and just execute this beautifully the first time and then see what happens. So.
The cost more so comes in with the hours that you're going to put in, getting it to each of the stores,
Right.
walking, all that kind of stuff.
which I have to do anyways to meet everybody initially, so it'll be sort of a double whammy, if you will.
Well, another thing we could do, because it is limited, like you said, to 14 businesses, speaking as a business, even if we paid like $100 per business or something like that, and that went to, buy gifts for needy kids in the area or something like that. It's a win-win situation, so then
That's a
maybe
great
those funds
idea.
can go to something like that, because I think it's a value add for any business in town to have that in their window. It's gonna bring people through. It's an advertising expense for the business, but it can go to a bigger cause at the end of the day and help out for Christmas, because I know they're always looking for that kind of stuff that time of
Especially
year.
the last couple of years, there's a lot of
Yeah.
organizations that could use some help.
It'd be a great way to
Yeah.
do some good with that as well.
Sure.
I just get the chills, I like that a lot.
I love that idea. One of the things with a new website too is there will be ways for people to be able to submit payments and things like that. That's one of the things that I'm pushing for. So I think I think our goal is just to keep it really simple this first time. Let's see it executed beautifully
Sure.
and smoothly, and then we can maybe see what it morphs into.
And then, the following months, we can really ramp up the donations and things like that. Because
For sure.
if it's every month or every 2 months.
Sure.
And they pay for the privilege of having a page in their window, maybe, by the time it's next holiday season, there's
Then you got
quite
a bucket.
Right.
Yeah, quite a collection, so. I would-
And maybe we'll have to raffle for businesses because you're all like just dying to be part of this program, right? So we might have to
Yeah, I
like.
think you're gonna have
Well,
to turn
you
people
definitely
away.
have to do the hot cocoa thing here.
We gotta figure that out, Yeah, and Starkweather wants a page for sure, and,
For sure, yeah.
I told Grace the size of it, because I was a little bit worried about how big it's gonna be, the 3 feet, but she
I
said.
think people will make room for something.
Yeah.
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 And this one, Polar Express, I've been a librarian for 20-some years, and knowing about the holiday books that you share with children, this one's not gonna cause any controversy. So, there's we're not opening ourselves up to any risk there, so that's
Well,
good.
the artwork is beautiful in it too.
It's beautiful.
It
It's
is.
beautiful. And Chris Van Allsburg is from Michigan. the
That's
illustrator.
right, I forgot about that.
Illustrator and author, yeah.
And one of the things that Claire and I talked about too is that the potential for there to be even an honor system box outside of Kezar, because one of the joys of walking downtown Romeo is when it's dark, when the lights are all lit up, right? And so if there is an honor system box out there, and people, kind of like with candy sometimes, right? I mean, and the cost is so nominal that if somebody happens to take
To get jingle bells and put them on a ribbon is gonna cost us, so I lied about the $60. It's gonna be more like $100, so total for the bells and everything, so, yeah. But we've totally got that covered in our budget, so.
We do. I helped approve that.
Yeah, I think you have the support of the board here, and
Fantastic.
anything you need on our end, just,
Okay.
be in communication with Elizabeth, and
She knows where to find me.
we
Yeah.
appreciate you including us in the project.
Yeah, no, the idea of getting children's literature into a public area is very exciting to me as a librarian, and working together, community collaborations are super important for what we're doing, so this is good.
Great.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you,
Thank
Claire.
you.
Yep. Okay, 11B. We have our calendar for our meeting dates set for next year. Boy, that first meeting's early.
Yeah,
So-
my
Do you
only
want-
concern about that was usually we avoided those so close to the holidays,
Yeah.
There was
but
usually a couple that we, like 4th of July.
Well, you
Fourth of-
do Peach Fest.
we always, 4th of July, we skip that Monday, Peach Fest,
No,
we
it looks
usually
like
skip
you
that
already did that.
Monday.
I would not do it on the 3rd, because that means you're working on board packets the week between Christmas and New
Yeah,
Year's.
it's New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
and this would be
So what would be the date?
It looks like July is taking care of it.
July's good?
Yeah, July's already been pushed back.
So-
Looks like Labor Day's been pushed back.
Well, I'm all for moving the one in September because that's my anniversary, but.
How about the January, we push it to the
To the
10th?
10th.
Well, and may I make a suggestion? Another option could possibly be to move it to a Tuesday. Like moving it to, one day, just so that bills and,
But that's still only
Yeah,
one
it's
day
just a
back
day.
from
Yeah,
the-
you're right, okay. So what's the date on that?
The 10th?
Okay. And then the next one is until the 7th, so I guess that, yeah. All right, I can check the calendar on that, but she said there wasn't an issue. Is there any issues with any of the other dates?
No, because the July 4th one is pushed out, and so is
Mhm.
September.
Yeah, Labor Day.
The rest are fine? Okay. So you have an action item for that, so if somebody wanted to make the recommendation with the correction of that one date.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the annual meetings for 2022 with a change of January 3rd to January 10th.
I
Support.
second. Okay.
All right, let's see, that was motion by, let me just, give me 1 second, I'm sorry.
Motion by Hayes.
Yeah, I've got this written by letters, so, okay. And that was support by Malzahn?
Mhm.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed. Okay.
Okay.
And then that second informational meeting that we have to hold is going to be held just before our December 6th meeting. Do we have a time on that, Elizabeth?
It would be for the same time, so if
So
you
it
look
was
at the
like
action
6:40.
item, it's, the verbiage is right there. So, did you do the last one at 6:45?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so we could change the recommended motion just to be, instead of
Yes.
7 to 6:45?
Yep.
And then do you want so with the, even though they're back to back, we have to do that by state law. So is that just using the same information from
Oh,
what
yeah.
we did before?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know I can just call
Then we
Lisa.
talked about doing this next one in the spring and the next one in the fall for 2022.
Right.
So,
Pardon?
Okay, the information will be in our packet.
Yes.
Keeps them around.
Mhm. Yeah, I have electronic copies of all that, yeah. And that was just published with the record, correct? Did it go anywhere else? Do you
I
know?
don't think it goes in the record. It goes to the municipalities only.
Oh, this doesn't have to be published in
No.
a paper?
Mhm. Nope.
Just the municipalities, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the informational meeting for December 6th, 2021 at 6:45 PM.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Hayes, support by Stevens. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Okay. On to board member comments. Christine?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Bill?
Just a question, is it the schools doing anything, or the art people doing anything? on-
Not this year, no.
Yeah, no banners?
No. Mm-mm. Amy would have come to us earlier for
It's been a couple of years since they came to us.
For any of
because
it?
they haven't asked for funding.
Okay, okay.
I talked to her a couple of days ago, and they're not planning on pursuing banners in the future.
Okay.
At this point.
Period? They are not?
Correct.
Obviously, we need to do something to,
I thought we talked about not doing banners this year and just keeping the Christmas decorations.
we did, but it's, if we don't move them along, then it's just gonna be, what you're telling me is that project's gonna die.
We have banners that can be used. I just need to go and check to see what there is, even if we.
20 of them.
Yeah, so
Oh,
even if we,
okay.
we can still use
Sporadically
those.
put them through?
Mhm.
Okay.
There's
okay.
20 of them. They're the brown wood ones, if I'm not mistaken, that are just of the businesses. They're still high school student
Oh,
artwork.
Okay.
They've been up a couple of years, but yes.
They
And I
come with the
believe there's 20 of them,
decorations,
and so Tim
That'll
is,
still look really
Tim is
nice.
prepping to put them up after the Christmas decorations are installed.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll work, and there's some other ones too.
Dreams, season greetings.
Yeah, and you have some knowledge on that. And there's an inventory or sheets, that I just haven't had a time to look at them, but in the office, so.
To build.
Maybe we ought to think in terms of offering a stipend or a prize to get, 20 or 30 or whatever, some number of them made for the kids.
I think
in
what
the-
doing the
A
story,
$25 type thing.
Well, not for this year, because I think if we kick off the storybook thing, you're gonna get more kids and families down there just to come see this new thing we're doing.
I think, to Bill's point with like the spring stuff, that was always a really popular one too with the kids' drawings. So maybe we look to building that relationship that Elizabeth's working on with the schools that can kind of extend to the art program, and I think that
I
will
guess
kind of
that's what I'm
build.
suggesting.
And then we can kind of take that role over
That
that
Amy was doing,
and
yeah.
fill that void.
Right.
I have her
We
name
may
is
wanna
Lisa.
throw some money in the budget
I had to go,
to-
after the first year, they didn't want to
Maybe
do it
like a-
anymore, I had to go.
Scholarship
Talker and then
fund or something
Yeah.
like that.
Timmy.
I don't know, I just,
Spitballing.
if it's something, if a kid's art is chosen, $25 or something, so they can sign off on the copyright. I mean, just,
Yeah, I
we
think.
might
it-
want to start, because otherwise what you're saying is that project is dead. And
No,
it's
I'm not
very,
saying
very
that.
popular.
That's just what she mentioned, but I don't usually take no very lightly. So I think there's a lot of room for some pretty neat collaboration, but we got to start somewhere. So there's a lot of work that's being done currently.
That's just kind of what I was
Yeah.
suggesting, I'll shut up.
No, not at all. I like what you're saying, Bill. I like what you're saying.
John,
I'm all set.
you all set?
Thank you.
You all wore out from October? Was it good?
Yeah.
It was?
Oh, October was very good.
I want to thank everybody that did participate in the Art and Wine Walk. We did have a great turnout that night. I don't know about the rest of you, but I went through 31 bottles of wine. We are.
How many did your guests drink?
I didn't drink any. I didn't have any. But Zach accused me of doing big pours, so I don't
pours
know.
look
Oh.
big.
All right, so you were
I
just
wouldn't put it
generous.
past you.
I wasn't pouring. And the chamber, if you guys want to be part of it or just help me get it out there, Ladies Night Out is going to be Friday, November 12th. We are putting together a raffle basket, but also looking for donations from businesses to help supplement the basket. They will get a sheet. They go around, each store can do their own discounts or serve anything. We're serving wine. I only ordered 12 bottles this time. And then they have to come back to the chamber to show their sheet, and then they'll get an entry into these drawings. That's what I got.
Just want to thank the police department for keeping everybody safe, all the kids safe on Saturday and Sunday with trick-or-treating in the village and then in town. And they did a great job shutting down the streets and everything. I think that's the one thing everybody was talking about, how that part of the process.
I noticed it
the
was
street
a
being
little
shut down.
different this year, though. You guys kept 32 open.
Not all the way through.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I drove through it.
Yeah, 32 was
They were,
open.
well, right, yes, he was.
They were
officers, so
close
there was-
like at
right.
the intersection, but
Yeah.
traffic could still go 32 miles.
Because I went
Yes.
across it.
Yeah. But yeah, I echo that
Yeah.
too. Mhm.
A lot of turnout.
Well, I want to thank Elizabeth for a fantastic first month. I
Thank you.
like how the board packets came together. I like bringing
Getting
us into the
ready.
21st century.
It's amazing what 40 hours a week can get us.
I know. Yeah.
Not that Lisa could have never done it, but now with those hours, she.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
and I know that.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, Lisa did good to hold
Yeah.
it together.
And what she did, yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I can understand just how long just that paper and getting that, I mean, it takes a lot of hours to do that stuff, so, yeah, she did a great job. And it's very organized, the office is very organized, paperwork, the filings, you know, everything on the computer is nicely done. She did a good job with the turnover on that, so. May I ask a follow-up on something?
Sure.
In regards to this website thing, then, does an RFP have to be approved by you guys to put a request for proposal out? Or do I have the?
I believe it does. We have to approve an RFP, right?
That, in my
verbiage
12
of
years
it.
on the library, that hasn't been how we've
I think you
done
could
it,
work
but.
with Kelly on the verbiage of it. We'll approve it when it gets to our table.
Well, right,
with the
right. I
submissions.
think that's what you were asking, right? That the board has to approve a written RFP before it goes
Well,
out
I thought
for
we
bid.
were talking about, I have 2 quotes, plus she's got the one now.
We did talk about that, but we also talked about we have to review the purchasing policy. and-
Okay.
'cause
I guess
like
maybe
Christine
that's what we
mentioned,
need to look at.
That's usually for 10,000, it's more, anything above
Right.
10,000, it's more the process of it. But anytime we put out an RFP, it's had to be approved by the board.
Okay,
Whether
so-
at a regular meeting or at a special meeting.
Okay, so my question, I guess, would be then, I mean, I could put the verbiage together right now. I just don't know if
Right.
you guys are ready, I mean, if you're okay with doing that, because we have, I guess if we call a special meeting just to approve a request for proposal, then that gets delayed even longer for however long an RFP, how long that has to go out, and then, so I'm just, how long do you want this to take to have a new website go?
Typically, historically, the RFPs, when there was a cost associated with that, when they would be created and then mailed out or published in a newspaper, when there was cost associated, we would bring that for approval as an expenditure. But now with the mitten and other areas where Elizabeth could post that information, there doesn't have to be a cost associated with it. So unless you or this board wants input on the content, it doesn't need to be approved at the board level. Certainly, the board would approve
The
the
actual.
award,
Mhm.
right, of who they
Right.
want to choose as the bidder, as the vendor for whatever the project is. But I don't believe, as part of your rules of procedure, that this board needs to approve the RFP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you could get with Kelly and
Right.
whatever Kelly would.
She can post one
Good
and it
enough,
comes
good.
back here, and if we don't like it, we just don't vote to spend the money.
Right, you don't have to.
So-
award-
Accept or
right.
Get
deny
out
it,
there
you know?
and ask people to bid on it.
Sure, and that's been my history, the rules of procedure with Romeo District Library, is that the director and her staff take care of the RFPs, and then they come to us for, with a recommendation, and then you see them all.
Okay.
So, if you're fine with me proceeding that way, then I'll proceed that way, as long as I'm getting direction from the full board, the full
Yeah.
board that is present.
As long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
And Thursdays, one of the things at Thursday's conference is, talking about, rules of procedure and best practices and whatnot, which is one of the direction that I want to take this organization, so, okay.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So
So moved.
Moved by Bill, support by?
Malzahn? All in favor?
Aye.
John, is that off? Okay. We were going to do a presentation.